I'm just kidding. Hey, everybody. Thank you very much, Ben, for coming off of your phone for just a second to talk with us in person as a real human. So I want to take it back. If you can even believe it, it's only been 9 weeks since Meerkat even launched, which just seems wild considering how many press cycles that we've gone through with it. But you know, back on February 27th, you guys launch, you blow up on Product Hunt. March 1st, I wrote a story called Meerkat is the live streaming app that Twitter should have built. Everything must have been awesome, huge wave of press, everyone's talking about you guys. March 4th, TechCrunch publishes that Twitter is going to buy Periscope. What does that feel like?
Awesome.
You're going to have to explain that one, because
So we've been working in this space for 3 years. We had 3 different products before that, one that was never published, in live video streaming. And you know, we went to different products, shutdown of product. We had 400,000 users on our old product called Yevo. We had to lay off people off the team. Like the space is hard. Like to get people to unlock the habit of you going live, it's something that is very difficult. So before Instagram, everybody knows what's a good photo. Everybody knows what's a good video because the format exists and people use it for like 80 or 100 years. Nobody knows still what's a good live stream because it's very
I
new.
can tell that by looking in the app. Nobody seems to know what they're supposed to do with it.
Yeah, because it's like it's a new format and it's just starting. Unlike video or photo or text, which exists for decades and decades.
So how did you feel good because Twitter suddenly bought this other app? Like, and all the press seemed to quickly turn on you guys.
Well, the only, like, for us, so if you put yourself for a second in my shoes, the way our team look at it is that there is a new medium called one-to-many synchronous medium. And the old medium, or what we know until now, is one-to-many asynchronous. And in one-to-many asynchronous, there is Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, YouTube, Yik Yak, Snapchat Stories, Vimeo. So many different products of communication on one-to-many asynchronous that it would be hilarious to say, Twitter cannot exist because you post statuses on your Facebook, or Instagram cannot exist because you post photos on your Facebook. All they need to do is add filters. So it will be ridiculous to say in one-to-many synchronous, there's going to be only one winner, because there are going to be multiple products there, the same that we see in one-to-many asynchronous.
I mean, you say more than one winner. I mean, I guess you could say that Lyft is a winner, but you could also say that it's definitely getting beat by Uber. So,
you're mixing between mediums and catalysts. So mediums, their job is to support self-expression. Mediums until now, well, if you look at one-to-many synchronous, there is Twitch, that's all. There's a $1 billion company on gaming vertical, that's all. The rest is radio and live TV, and if we want to talk, we can talk about the cost of distribution, which is like ridiculously high. But if you look at Catalyst, which their job is to reduce volume of physical space and time, it's a different kind of game, and it's a different kind of coordinates. It's not a, and there's different rules there.
So there was no like sinking feeling, no like we got to really work even harder now. Like,
oh, of course, all the time. We work hard all the time. It's regardless. Every team, not just Meerkat or other product, every team should work very hard for their product. But when you look in the mirror, you see different kinds of yourself. There is the formal self, the non-formal self, the beautiful self, the immediate self, and every kind of emotional amplitude gets its own product that fits to it. So it will be just kind of sad to say, oh, there's going to be just Facebook.
Okay, I'm not quite sure I agree with you, but what did you think about the download rates and how things changed when Periscope launched? I mean, according to App Annie, it looked like downloads are down pretty significantly.
Yeah, they are down because when they launched, App Store took us from best new app and put a different, like put Periscope in best new app. So
Right.
obviously when the App Store put you in best new app and everybody in the United States it open the App Store sees your like the yellow Meerkat app there, then your download rate changes, and then when you're not there, it goes back to normal.
Is that one of those disadvantages, though, that because Twitter has lots of big relationships, has huge teams dedicated to this kind of thing, that maybe Apple's giving them some nice treatment when they were formerly giving that to you guys?
Apple is super fair. I think that Apple wants to support their developer community and then try to be as fair as possible. And yeah, this is an advantage that Twitter's team have, and that's, of course, like they would do it.
So how many users does Meerkat have now?
I think we're now, we're well above 1 million users. Now we just released Android, which is adding to that, so.
You were like, say you were about to hit 2 million, or?
Around this number.
Around 2 million. Okay, that's cool. I mean, because Periscope said that it took 10 days for them to get to 1 million, but that's obviously it benefited from a big spike from things like the App Store. But you guys came out, almost a month ahead of time. Do you guys still feel like you have a head start, or like has that lead been erased?
I'm going to go back to how I started.
You don't think that they're the same.
We're like 3 years working on that. Like, to look at this as something that is a sprint, it's short sprints, and every time there is different thing to focus on. And yeah, it's like, for us, it's just like a long journey.
Okay, so you keep talking and sort of alluding that you feel like there's lots of room in the space, that there's lots of different products to be built. How do you differentiate Meerkat and make it something really special?
So the way we look at it, so Twitter has a great mentality and a great product for pushing one-to-many content. And Periscope is a great product to push one-to-many live video content, so people can consume content that was pushed in real time, one-to-many. The way we see our product as a product that is pull many to one. So we want to be, and actually I feel like we're the best product out there, to pull many to one, to participate. So even if you open the app now, you see that the audience is in front of the content and not behind the content. And how we see it, the medium will be successful when we change the type of content, and the type of content should change, because live video, this is live stream, so people will ask, what's the difference? Now it's just on my mobile? Yes, this is a difference of habit, but more of that, you can change the content when you empower the audience to take part in the content and not consume. Like, I think that if the past decade was about consuming or sharing, the next decade is going to be about participating in content. And I think this is where it's get exciting. So you can see that, the content, the audience is the content, is in front of that, it's not behind. We just introduced like the emoji feature, and comments are there so people actually can have conversation. And there's more stuff in collaborative streaming that we're going to introduce soon. So it's really exciting for us to be able to speak in this stage,
Yeah, that participation part is really interesting. I did one live stream where I basically asked people to just tell me what to do in San Francisco, whether that was like hug strangers or do cartwheels or sing serenades, and that was really interesting because it's something YouTube could never do, and these previous products just weren't built for. And I did another one where I ended up doing a duet with a violinist, and sort of I sang through Skype, and then she was live streaming it, and so it came through on her live stream. Is this going to be a new medium where you need a separate app to consume it? Or do you think that kind of content can be rolled in with native commenting and participation features to other things? Like, to me, I can imagine consuming live streams and commenting on them and watching them within Twitter. But so how do you see it evolving? Is it a separate app, or is it something that can be rolled into other products?
I think that put aside Periscope and Meerkat, put them aside. We need more teams with new DNA, to build products that are suited for participation and participatory media. Like the age of us watching something is about, it's going to an end. And us participating is going to be something more exciting because we're going to have the sense of presence. We're going to feel like we can actually change the content in the other end. There is drama, there's anticipation, this is uncertainty. There is a whole new set of feelings that social networks never touched. And I think that you need a new DNA for that. So
you guys did a big thing this morning about this, actually. You guys, like, right as we went on stage, you just pushed something live, right?
Yeah, we had an unofficial API, so we just pushed an official API out.
Wow.
So developers, yeah, we already have 37 partners, like Catch, and like who lets you catch your stream and post it to your YouTube, and like Meerkat Stats, who's analytics for your Meerkats, and Meerkat Streams is discovery platform. So and also desktop push notification, and very interactive web, so you can comment. So all of this thing was just pushed out.
That's awesome. So Meerkat just launched a developer ecosystem.
Yes, exactly.
That's very cool. And you guys, one of the things I like is that you guys now have an ability to send Chrome notifications or desktop notifications.
Yes.
So if you're on your desktop computer all day rather than your phone, and somebody you follow starts to stream, then you'll get a notification.
Exactly.
So that's fascinating. You guys are building a developer ecosystem, even though you're such a small company and don't really have a ton of experience building developer ecosystems. But I almost would think that that's an advantage of you over Twitter and Periscope, because Twitter has relentlessly screwed up its developer platform, like over and over, like screwing over the data providers with like the whole the GNIP thing, and then and then what they did to you. I mean, maybe you could talk about that for a second. Like, how did it feel being a developer built on top of Twitter, and then the Periscope acquisition happened, and then they gave you, what, like 3 hours?
2 hours.
2 hours to change your app. How did that feel to get that short of notice?
Well, first let's start with...
No, let's start with that, because that's important.
Okay. So that sucked. Like, you get this call, and they say, like, hey, we really like your product, but...
So much we bought it.
We really like your product, but we're going to take by the rules, you cannot use the graph in a competitive way. And we just launched Periscope in a beta. I think they launched it in beta or something like that. And we're going to close it. I said, cool, how much time do we have? And I'm like, all right, we got like a week to prepare, or like 2 weeks. And they're like, it's going to be midnight. And then the BuzzFeed article and the closer was like 2 hours after. It was not even midnight. It was like, yeah.
So you said that sucked, but like more vividly, like what did you tell your team? How did you feel about and maybe you could talk about like what you think of as Twitter as a developer and their developer relations, because you're someone who's been exposed to it, more than anyone.
So first of all, the team went back. It was Saturday. All the team went back to the office to get ready to that, which the team is awesome. Like our team, they're just been incredible. I think that we need to see that big platform should take leadership in a mode that coming from a standpoint of courage and not that come from courage
and not fear. Okay.
Yes. I think that there is a dialogue when you call yourself a developer platform, and the developer community to Twitter was good. Like, they helped them understand how the client of the mobile client should look. They helped them understand like how they want to work on the desktop client, how they want to do their analytics tools, and I think that Twitter is a smart team. Like, it's a good company, and they can do better with how they interact with their developer. Having said that, within Meerkat, they were playing by the rules. Like, the only thing that they did wrong was, from my point of view, was giving us 2 hours notice. It's well there, you know that as a developer that you cannot use the graph in a competitive way. So I'm just talking about the overall system, ecosystem, not just, saying that they were doing us too much wrong.
Of course, you had no idea you were competing when you built the product.
Yeah, exactly. And there's also the question, like, for everyone on Twitter, there's a question like, hey, my followers on Twitter, like, is it my list or is it Twitter's list? There's a question, like, do you want to take your followers to other platforms? And as a Twitter user, and it's a question for the users on Twitter, it's a question for the developers. Of course, I can understand how you limited the graph, but it's a question that should be said.
So how do you guys turn this into a business independently? I know that you're focused on growth and building a great product right now, but do you have any vision of like how, like in a general sense, how you want to build a business out of Meerkat?
So in our priorities, it's like participation first in the product. Like how do you get people to take part in content and not consume content? And then we're not limited to Twitter. Like there's Facebook, there's Tumblr, there is YouTube, there's others. And then there's the developer API, the developer community at all. I think that when you turn it to a business, it's going to go in that funnel. I think that when we as audience, we start taking part in content, we have much more emotional commitment and emotional connection to content, that we will rather consume it, that we will rather not consume it by taking part, and that will eventually, in the long run, when the format evolves to other stuff that we are, this format, I think, could be very exciting when you take part in it and it's produced in a high quality of production, that you will actually pay for it.
You think that your people are going to pay to use it?
Not now, not in the next 3 years, 5 years, but I think that when there's a high quality of production and I can feel that I'm actually there. Like there's a whole vertical of virtual reality that we haven't talked about.
Right.
That I can feel that I'm actually there and I feel that I can change the content. I think that you would pay much more than you pay per view for that. But I'm talking like not anywhere near term.
And just lastly, people are getting tons of notifications from their live streaming apps right now. A lot of people are turning off their notifications. Do you guys have anything you can do really quickly just to reduce that overload and make sure people only see the best streams and don't get overloaded with crappy ones and turn off?
Yeah, we just actually introduced mobbing. Mobbing is when a stream gets above certain engagement, then we start auditioning the stream. So we won't push it to everyone. We start auditioning it. And if the stream, we start auditioning it on a small portion of people, and then as your stream is exciting, if people are sticking there, we're going to push it to more and more and more people. So eventually, when your stream is getting mobbing, it can go to practically the whole community, but if it's exciting enough, if people are sticking.
Got it. So you guys are going to help amplify the best content, so maybe it's not all going to come straight from your friends. Well, I know that you said that your experience with the Twitter development ecosystem kind of sucked, but it's exciting that now you guys are launching your own, so you can do it how you want to do it.
Thanks.
Cool. Thanks a lot for talking with me, Ben.
Thank you. Thank you.